Welcome everybody. Um, had a good week last week. Obviously, had a tough loss in our last outing, but I was proud of our guys. I thought they played, did a lot of good things against a really good team on the road, and we had a ton of opportunities to win. But I was proud of the way our guys fought. So a lot of positives. Got pretty banged up over the course of the first four games, and so last week we were able to get, you know, be pretty, try to be as smart as we could in our workouts and try to make sure that we got things done, but also allow guys to recover. And I thought we accomplished that last week. Had a good practice today, tough Tuesday practice. Had a good practice yesterday. Um, we recognize we have a really good team coming in here. Been impressed with them. Coach Schultz done a really good job with that team. Kind of reminds me of us. Um, Playing with the chip on their shoulder. Nobody gave them any chance this season. Nobody gave us any chance this season. All of their games were hard-fought games. Had a chance to win all of them. And just was in it playing tough against Minnesota there. And so I just been impressed watching them on tape. They do a lot of good things. Coach Schultz is a really good coach. His background is defensive coordinator, a lot of great places. Came from Texas. I love what they do on offense. Start with their quarterback, Brandon Lewis. Athletic, can run, can throw, fits all the things that they do in their schemes. They present a lot of problems with all their, different personnel groupings and all the different run schemes they have. Plus, they can throw the football, and so it's going to be a great game. We're looking forward to it. We're home. Looking forward to defending our home turf. We're undefeated at home and want to continue that as our first conference game at home. And so a lot of things to look forward to, and our kids are excited.
Questions for Coach? How's it been ramping up from a bye week and getting the players to play a game this week again?
Well, to be honest, the beginning of last week was tough because our kids put everything into that game, double overtime game. We got home late. Just the emotions. I don't even know what time we got home, 4:00 or something. That took a lot out of us, because our kids laid everything on the line for that game. And so I think the beginning part of the week, because we took things slow, I think it went okay. Again, we try to be smart, let guys catch up with academics, let guys recover. But as we started to practice, I've been pleased, and I thought we had a good day yesterday. I thought we had a good day today.
Hi, Coach. Coming out of the bye week, do you think there's any problems that you've recognized over the first few weeks of the season that have been addressed?
Well, there's always, things you're trying to address. We'd been playing really good defense until last week. A lot of good things. So some things showed up that guys basically, guys not doing their jobs, which, it's the first time that showed up. So we're just trying to shore into guys doing their jobs on defense. Offensively, was our best game offensively last week. But we still got to do a better job of taking care of the football. So taking care of the football, some of our short yardage stuff, converting short yardage. We've been pretty good in the red zone. We've been really good on defense and taking the ball away, especially interceptions. So we want to continue to do that. But turnover margin is a big concern for us. We want to make sure that we do a better job of maximizing all of our possessions. Doing a great job of getting a lot of explosive plays, but want to take care of the football. So that's probably one of them. Try to sharpen some stuff in the kicking game. There's always little things. So, everybody does this. At first bye, just kind of did some self-analysis, things we need to work on, some things we're doing good. But yeah, there's always things you can work on. But those are some of the things at the top of my head.
You mentioned Nevada and yourself. No one gave you guys a chance. A couple weeks into the season, how do you view your program as opposed to the rest of the Mountain West and how they match up?
Well, I've seen pretty much everybody play, and a lot of good teams in our conference. Starting with this week in Nevada, watched them early on play SMU, and they had every opportunity. They're ahead late, had every opportunity to win that game. You know, tough game versus Georgia Southern. Was it Georgia Southern? Also Minnesota. I mean, they played them tough, and so I guess the thing that I kind of see is they're a tough team, but I like where we're at. I've seen every team. We know we got to continue to get better and improve. There's some really good teams in our conference, but we feel like we can compete with anybody. But we can't look ahead to anybody. We just got to make sure that we're ready for this week. But in the bye weeks, you get a chance to see a ton of people play. So you see all of that. You watch everybody in your conference, kind of see what's ahead. That way, just as a fan watching other games on TV, but recognizing our preparation has solely been on Nevada.
And then getting ready to deal with Nevada's run game, whether it be the quarterback or the group of running backs they have, what have you guys done to prepare for facing a team with them?
Well, there's from Sac State to Air Force to Kennesaw, there's some teams that did similar things. Just they present different problems with you with their different schemes, and a big part of that is being gap sound, fitting things up right. There are different formations, there are different motions, and just making sure we leverage the ball. We like our plan, so I like what Coach Odom and his staff are doing. But we got to go execute, and some of that is just, being solid and being firm in your gap and not getting tired of doing your job over and over and over again. And like I said, they do a lot of things, a lot of eye candy, and they stretch you a lot of different ways in the run game. And we just got to make sure that we fit everything up right.
And then for the game on Saturday, the peak temperatures as of right now is supposed to be around 96. What have you done this week to kind of prepare for playing in the heat?
Yeah, I heard that. It's we don't have any alternatives. We're it's not like we have an indoor with air conditioning or anything. We got to practice. We try to be smart with our hydration, try to make sure our guys are hydrating, and our my strength and training room staff have done a good job in reminding our kids to stay hydrated. But that's all you can do is try to stay hydrated. We're practicing in it, and I think we needed this. We needed this early heat to get ready for this weekend because we took some days off last week. And so I think it bodes well for us. I'm kind of glad that we have this so we can kind of get ready for Saturday, with a couple of days off, that we had this past weekend.
Coach, last game versus Washington State, we got to see Emmett and the offense really navigate the 2-minute offense down the stretch with the fourth quarter, the game on the line. What were your thoughts, and how did you think the offense handled that, obviously, high-leverage game in the moment? First time we've seen that with this group this year.
I've been impressed with Emmett. He's continued to get better and better. And, there's things that I've seen at practice. I told Coach Stutz before the game I wouldn't be surprised if we had a breakout game because you can just see it. You can see the timing. You can see the guys understanding concepts better. Just, I'm in a lot of different meetings during the course of the week, but, and being in the quarterback meeting, you can see those guys, their grasp and knowledge of the offense is getting better and better. And, when Coach Stutz asks a question, they spit it out, the answer really quickly. You can see Emmett's and Coach Stutz's, their rapport with each other, what they like, what he likes, what Emmett likes, different concepts. And I think they're just getting better at that. And was really proud of the way he played, Emmett. We didn't talk much about it, but obviously he was there at Washington State. I'm sure there are a lot of nerves. I'm sure he wants to, do well, and probably a lot of pressure, a lot of, banter going back and forth and on social media or whatever. But I thought he handled himself really well, and he played an outstanding football game. And the exciting thing for us is we feel like we can still get a lot better on offense. So that's really exciting. I've said that, really in the 3 previous games, we still haven't, clicked like we want to, like the way Coach Stutz wants us to. But I thought it was better last week. But we're going to have to do all those things you talk about in a 2-minute game. But the other part is we ran the ball better. And so, if we can run the ball and keep people honest, If they're doing things, it's we feel like we're going to be a tough team to match up with.
And another guy that we saw kind of down the stretch in that Washington State game was Trayshawn Hurry. Have you seen some progressions within his game? Obviously, he gets to learn from a lot of those veteran wide receivers with Jay Locke and Nick Nash. But have you seen some progressions from fall camp to now heading into week 5 with Trayshawn?
He was a little bit hurt in a couple of days in fall camp. Just soft tissue stuff. But we feel like when he's gotten opportunities, he's made those plays before. I can't remember what game it is, but he had a critical third down catch. I don't know, can't remember if it was Kennesaw or Sac State. But when the balls come his way, he's done good things. And so again, him doing well. You got two big wideouts on the edge. You got two guys that are 6'3", 6'4" on the edges, and you got a big slot inside with Nick, another 6'3", 6'4" guy inside. And our tight ends, that's the other part. I thought our tight ends played really, really well against Washington State. And, if people are starting to do things to try to take away Nick, it was encouraging to see that whether it's Trayshawn on the opposite side, Nick Nash, Jay Locke on, he's been doing good things the whole season. But then also our tight ends. Our tight ends have done a good job with a lot of intermediate catches. Jackson obviously had that big catch against Air Force, whatever. I don't know how long that touched on the deep ball that he had. So, we're encouraged that we kind of feel like there's people that we can stretch you all around the field, and Trayshawn coming to the forefront like he did, that bodes well for us in the future.
A guy we've all asked about a lot, Nick Nash. You always say how grateful you are that he stayed. Was there a specific moment, either in practice or a game, where you're like, wow, I'm really grateful we have lines?
I think early on, just watching him just in spring practice. Like, Coach Stutzman's offense, there's a lot of intricate details to it. Like, if you watch it, it's just like, oh, this guy's just running an out, or he's just running whatever. But there's so many intricate details into Coach Stutzman's offense, and so there's a learning curve. And his learning curve was he picked things up really quickly. And so you can see him go from the meetings out on the field, and he was able to translate it into doing stuff on the field where some guys, it took a lot more reps in him. So that was the thing. They're like, wow. We saw his ability to run during the preseason workouts, when you're watching them run with the strength staff. While he's fast, he's athletic. But you weren't able to see his football IQ until we started practicing. And so that's the beautiful thing about it. He reads coverages really well. He sees what people are doing to them. And, he and Coach Stutzman, both Coach Stutzmans and Coach McGibbon, they're able to articulate things on the sideline about what they're seeing. And that's a huge benefit. He's a guy that sees it as it happens. And that's the key to this offense. There's not a lot of predetermined routes. You're reading stuff. And so if you got a guy with that kind of athletic ability and he knows what he's doing and he understands leverage and space and different things and coverage and what the coverages are trying to take away, it's why he's doing what he's doing.
And how have you seen him grow from going back to spring camp to LO and now week 5?
Nick and I have told us that it's kind of it's more of a blessing. But Nick's emotional guy. He's a fiery competitor, which I love about him, which makes him who he is. But there are times when he, might get too mad in practice, and you just try to settle him down, just move to the next play. But you like that. You like a guy that's competitive, is always pushing himself to get better, but just trying to help him. Okay, don't let it be a detriment to affect you on the next play. And I think he's done a good job of moving on to the next play. And just because he's such a perfectionist and what he tries to do from route running to catching the ball and, to getting yak yards, doing all of that kind of stuff. I think the thing that he's done the best is not letting playing with emotion, but not letting emotion play with him.
We talked about Emmett earlier. Now he's progressed with Stutz in the offense and whatnot, but can you kind of speak to how he's progressed as a leader within the team? Again, it's his first year with all these guys.
Yeah, I remember early on he said something, and I think it was with Sky SID, just like he wanted to kind of help out with his brothers, the other teammates, maybe help them with maybe getting some help with interviews, and maybe could have a class and maybe help all of us, help all of them get better at doing interviews, or maybe let them tell their story and get that out. And he's asked me, Coach, is there anything we can do that way? And I said, Emmett, that's a great deal, but just focus on yourself. And so I think as he's done that and now he's mastering the offense, um, guys recognize that he's become, his command of the offense is going to be the greatest leadership that he can bring. You know what I mean? Everybody looks to him because he's the quarterback, but he also knows what he's doing now. You know what I mean? He has commanded the offense, and he's still getting better. There's so many layers to this offense, and there's so many things that Coach Stutz keeps adding on every week, little intricate detail here and there. And so because of that, it allows us to take our offense to the next level. But he was always, I don't know how to put that, is people love Emmett. He's a great kid. He's a great person, easy to get along with. So he was an easy person for people to gravitate to. You know, sometimes when you got guys that come from other schools, sometimes that doesn't always work. You know, sometimes it can be friction. Sometimes guys that are here like, who's this dude? Who does he think he is? You know, but Emmett never came across that way. Always humble in his approach, humble in his leadership. But I think as he's focused on being the best quarterback that he could be, he already had natural leadership skills. And, you know, my message to him, don't worry about the leadership part. Focus on being the best quarterback that you can be. And as you excel in that, you already have the other stuff. The other stuff will come naturally.
You know, we have two great, coming back to Nevada, we have two great outside corners, but Nevada got a 6'6" outside receiver. How do you kind of prepare for that? Such size on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. You know, I mean, you just got to play with technique and do the best you can. And like you said, you know, we like our corners, you know, from Dansby to DJ to Amir. You know, all of them, you know, have done some good things. You know, Amir's got some length, but it's going to be a battle. And there's, you know, that's hard. It's the same thing that, you know, Nick provides, you know, for us. You know, that length that he has been a big benefit. You know, because sometimes, you know, guys might feel like he's covered, but his catch radius, you know, makes it hard to cover, and it's the same thing. So we'll just try our best to cover them, you know, with technique the best we can, and we'll see how it goes.
And Jordan Cobbs has been dealing with an ankle injury. Is there any insight on his status for this week's game with Nevada?
He's getting better and better. Right now, probably questionable to probable. You know, at this point, you know, it's like every day he's getting better. He's such a smart young man, and he knows the defense. He obviously he's in all the meetings still. He's not getting all the reps that he normally would get, but he's a veteran, and he's been here, you know, for a while. He knows Coach Odom's defense. Coach Boje does a great job of coaching him. That's going to probably be a later in the week decision as he goes, but he's improving every day.
Couple more for Coach.
We've kind of mentioned the injuries now that have Cobbs, Lotsu the previous week. Has this bye week given you any insight on who could fill those shoes or who's stood out to you in those eyes?
Well, that's a great question because, you know, it allowed other guys to get reps, you know what I mean? And so with Cobbs down, you know, Nazir, you know, or Nas got some reps inside. Noah, you know, who's injured, he's coming back, so it's good to have Noah back. Obviously, we know JP, you know, probably one of our best players on the team. Malachi got a ton of reps, you know, played a lot with, you know, Nella being out. You know, so just some of those, you know, Nick was a little banged up last week, just more so just wear and tear, so we kind of took it easy on him last week. So some other guys got a ton of reps. You know, Sebastian got a lot of reps, so that was great for him. Cooper got a lot of reps to kind of save J-Lock's legs. So, yes, you're right. We did a lot of that last week. You know, try our best to make sure everybody's trying to get better, but the guys have been playing a lot, try to give them a little bit of rest and try to see our younger guys go. So it was great from a development standpoint last week.
Final question for Coach.
With the bye week, were you able to get away and kind of take a break from, you know, being around this area?
Well, I actually did. So I went to Hawaii. You know, I was went recruiting. You know what I mean? So I had there's a game went to last week, so that was good. Was able to see my dad, not older. My daughter lives there on Oahu. My granddaughter had a birthday party, so it's funny. On Saturday, looking at scores, and Coach Stutz, we were texting back and forth, and he's asking me like, "Where are you at?" And I just told him, I'm in the parking lot at Costco in Hawaii Kai, waiting for my wife to come back for some goodies from a birthday party. But it was good. I think we're all chomping at the bit to come back. And I was just telling my wife, I love working here. I love coaching here at San Jose State. I love the guys that I work with, the coaches, the staff. I love the players. Even Sky, you love being around Sky. You know what I mean? So it's fun to come to work. So it's kind of like, it's not like, sometimes, people have the Monday blues, like, I got to go back to work. All of us are chomping at the bit to come back. You know what I mean? So we're excited to come back to work. So we're looking forward to this weekend. We know it's going to be a tough game because we have a ton of respect for Coach Schultz and what he's done for his program. And I just close by saying I go to the conference meetings, and we've had several meetings, and I've been in a lot of those coaching meetings over the year with head coaches, and you could tell early on just some of his comments in some of our meetings that he's a sharp dude, really smart man, really good football coach, and what he's doing there is not surprising.